Why do empires and civilizations fail? Because humanity has not taken to heart that not only does power corrupt, but that the corrupt also seek power. Most of our leadership and government structures are designed on the premise that good, or at least people with what we would consider normal moral fiber, gain positions of power. Given that most people still assume that most other people generally think like they do, this is not at all surprising. But given our species' tendency to produce a mixture of temperaments, something that is genetically advantageous in each generation, within all cultures and races, some individuals will inevitably have the seeds of corruption within them. Thanks to the even split of nature versus nurture, those corrupted temperaments, with their subsequently skewed morals, have a chance to be imprinted onto groups like families and institutions over generations. Such individuals exist in each social stratum and range from simple thugs, bullies, and predators all the way up to morally corrupt lawyers and psychopathic corporate executives. Illegal or legal but morally bankrupt, these individuals simply do not think like the rest of us. Hard-working or lazy, they do not work for the benefit of humankind, but only for themselves and their goals. Their impact on others mostly be damned. When looking at human history, we have generally tried to improve our power structures to minimize the chance and impact of corrupt individuals, only for each system to be corrupted in turn. Whether a capitalist democracy, socialist collective, or religious theocracy, no power structure is immune. The rate of infiltration differs, but power attracts the corrupt like moths to a flame. So why does this lead to collapse? Because the required system changes are stubbornly resisted by those in power until the whole thing comes crashing down. The same individuals who run it into the ground would rather squabble over the broken pieces than admit to the flaws and avoid the collapse, partially because they simply don't know how to fix it, and mostly because they see no advantage in fixing it for themselves. To these individuals there is no alternative. Either the system serves them or it fails. That it could ever serve the general population is so far from their perception of how the world works that even considering it is laughable. They literally have convinced themselves that only the strong survive. The working masses are simply a tool, and any system that even partially serves the interests of the masses must be weaker/poorer than a system that continuously strives to strengthen those who really matter, them. The fact that this leads to social decline and inevitable system instability only reinforces their belief in the inferiority of the masses and the need to contain and control them. Be it nepotism and outright corruption, stifling and incompetent bureaucracy, a police state, or any other number of measures to try and control the population. The more pressure they apply, the worse it gets. Going back is not an option. They simply do not believe that providing freedom and opportunity to the masses is a viable strategy. And the sad truth is, they are correct. What seems like madness to the rest of us makes perfect sense from their point of view. At a certain tipping point in any system's corruption, going back is less desirable than continuing on. At this point, the corruption is too deep, too widespread, and would bring down too many powerful players to risk being exposed. Reforming the system or winding back the corruption would lead to guaranteed discovery and demands for justice, while trying to control the collapse and grabbing what you can in the chaos at least gives a reasonable chance of getting away with it. Surely no one would be mad enough to bring down an entire civilization only for the chance of saving their own hides, power, and influence. The fact most of us would say this is exactly why it keeps on happening. They don't see it as mad. In fact, they think us mad for not thinking the same way as them. Until we realize that these people are out there, that they will always be out there, no system will be safe. We have to organize our power structures on the deliberate assumption that corrupt individuals will do their damnedest to infiltrate and manipulate it to their advantage. You won't be able to recognize them or their tactics until it is too late. Oh, you may catch a few bad actors occasionally, stop a few overzealous corrupt reforms, but the road to hell is long. They will always return and try again, like a moth to the flame, and eventually, no matter how long it takes, they will succeed. The only way to stop this is to guarantee that those with power have to sacrifice so much of their personal freedoms to wield this power that the corrupt see no advantage to themselves in attaining these positions. Coupled with this is the need to ensure that no overwhelming concentration of power is possible, be it religious, financial, political, or other, and you free the positions themselves of corruption while denying the corrupt enough resources to overwhelm enough of the system to influence it externally. The last mechanism that is required is the ability for the public to practicably be able to remove any position of power if needed, and you have a system that is as close to unassailable for corrupt individuals as is possible. And if you think these measures are excessive, you continue to severely underestimate the complete different logical and rational conclusions that different mindsets allow individuals to have. That is why change is generally only possible after a system-wide collapse. This next one will most likely be a doozy. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, so they say. Well, once it is done, it's time to break the glass, so to speak, and let's get the next round right, because I don't think our planet can handle too many more of them given our current impact on the globe, assuming our next system collapse does not wipe us all out, that is. For more information on how such a government would work, see my video on the next evolution in government, concession-based authority. Link in the description below. For the dangers and counters of all other forms of power concentration, check out my other videos on its various forms. That's it for now. All the best and take care.